find it hard to believe that anyone could ever dislike Mario Party. I mean, sure, it comes with the rivalry and the heated arguments and all that sort of stuff. And you might even want to rip someone's head off. And everyone knows Peach is a freaking cheater! But I digress. Because Mario Party 2, namely, is one of the greatest games I've ever played. And you might notice a reoccurring theme here in this countdown. That usually when it pertains to games I played with someone or had a multiplayer aspect to it, it's usually, it's on here. Sure, there's games like Oblivion and The Walking Dead that are solely single player. As it pertains to this list, games that I was able to play with someone, they still hold up. Like, I'll still play Mario Party 2 with a lot of enthusiasm. Can I say the same for, I don't know, Call of Duty? No, not really. But games that I was able to enjoy with other people, I find those endearing and even timeless. A game like Mario Party 2 came out, 17 years ago. Still a great game. The objective of this game is, it's a party game. It's pretty much just a board game, just in video game format. You start off by rolling a dice, or hitting a dice block rather, to see who's going to go first, and you go from the highest number in order that you drew. So, from there, your objective is to walk around the board and find Toad to get the star. And the more stars you accumulate, and the overall well you do, performance-wise in the game, indicates if you will be the coveted superstar. And it's not an easy task. There's Bowser pieces, there's chance times that can get your star taken away, and Peach cheats! She cheats! She's a cheater. But I digress. If you can do all these things, and overcome all these things, and win mini games, and all this, you will be the superstar. I had so much fun. There were so many heated arguments growing up. There were so many, just overall inconveniences. But this game is timeless, it's fun, and I definitely recommend it, and I think it's very worthy of its number 5 spot. So, Mario Party 2, excellent game. So here's the thing, I didn't grow up with the NES, so, that's a big portion of why I don't necessarily have any NES titles. This is technically an NES title, but, I grew up with a Super Nintendo, so a lot of my beginnings in video game came from the SNES, and, funny story, I played this game a lot, and I enjoyed it, because it's Mario. Everyone loves Mario. And there was a time where I went to someone's house, and they said, "You want to play Mario?" And I'm like, "Yeah!" Because it's Mario. And they pull out this NES, and here comes this long, lanky, 8-bit looking mother lover. And I was like, that's not Mario. Help, I'm creeped out. And so yeah, this has always been like the true version of Mario to me. The music's better, the graphics are better, and it's not really about that, because there's not a huge distinction between 8-bit and 16-bit as it is, but for me, this is better, and yeah, it's supposed to be better, but people will talk about the originals before All-Stars, and that's just always kind of gripe me a little bit. But Super Mario All-Stars is a collection of games that feature Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. The Lost Level, Super Mario Bros. 2, and Super Mario Bros. 3. And I would say the most fun I had, a surprise, comes Super Mario 2. like even like the character select theme, like you've heard it in, if you're familiar with my channel, you've heard it used in some vlogs. And like it's just a nice little song, and it's just for the character selection, you know? Like on top of that, it's a different game or style as opposed to the other types of Mario games. And there's a big story for that. Like it was rebranded, repackaged as a game that was first released in Japan. It wasn't even an original Mario game. That's a different story. But I found a lot of fun with Super Mario Bros. 2. But the only game I've ever truly beat without warp zones or anything is Super Mario Bros. 3. I beat that 2 years ago. Only took me 20 years. And so, so yeah, Super Mario Bros. All Stars. I've had so much fun with it, and again, it's timeless, or it's a classic. Like it's gonna be talked about long after we're gone. But I had fun playing this. Had fun playing with friends. I'm a huge wrestling fan, or as we say in the biz, a mark. I guess you could call me a smark now, which is a smart mark. So, anyway, I had so much fun. I would play these games till my eyes hurt, and I'll never forget it. Christmas morning, I was 8 years old. I got a PlayStation 2, and the long coveted SmackDown Shut Your Mouth. I had so much fun. Then this game is just wacky. You can go to Times Square, jump off the deal, like it's pretty. It exceeds the boundaries of what a wrestling game should be, but at the same time, that's what gives it its charm. Like it's wacky, it's arcadey, and you know I kind of miss this about wrestling games. Now it's a sports simulator, which is good in its own right, but this I had so much fun with it. It's fast paced. It's wacky. It is what it is. And so, in this game, you can take your character, create a character, or someone who's on the active roster at the time. My personal choice is Chris Benoit. No. And you take them through a 2-year season mode. And you fight matches, you challenge for titles, all this sort of stuff. And you work your way up to becoming the top dog of the WWE. And there's tons of multiplayer aspects. There's ladder matches, TLC, cage match, a heck in sale. Well, watch my language. Kidding. And yeah, there's just so much fun to be had. You can create taunt animations, and just there's so much room for creativity. My older sister created a legendary character whom we've never retrieved called Sacro Poo. And I think it's still, to this day, our favorite creation. And it's a shame that it doesn't exist. But I've spent countless hours on this. And not to be forgotten, Here Comes the Pain. Here Comes the Pain was another great game. And it was pretty much Shut Your Mouth, but just a little bit more advanced. There was a huge roster. You could go to Times Square, jump off helicopters, and it was crazy. You took your wrestler through a 1-year season as opposed to a 2-year season, which I was kind of like, man, I wish I had the other year. But that's okay. The creator wrestler was a bit lacking in this, but I still loved it. Like, it was still a game like I loved, and it reminds me of a great time in my life. And not to be forgotten, Day of Reckoning on the GameCube. I never actually owned this game till a couple years back, but anytime I got to play it, I was engulfed in it, because the physics and the mechanics were different than the aforementioned SmackDown series. And so I had a lot of fun with it. There's season modes, and the physics was really got me. So I would just be playing this as much as I possibly could until I had to leave, or from a friend's house or something like that. So, and also I got a lump in SmackDown vs. Raw too. But these games were a lot of fun, and I play them to this day. Like, they're great multiplayer games, they're great single player games, like, they're just great. They're great sports games. So if you're looking for one, look no further. And well, there's 4 of them right there. So 4-way tie for the number 3 spot. This game to this day is number one wrestling. The number one wrestling game of all time. There's no dispute on it. It's the undisputed best wrestling game. Well, you get those weirdos every now and then that say, oh, WCW Revenge was the best, or WCW World Tour. Those people are liars. This is the best. I got this from the rental store one night. I had just gotten into wrestling as a second grade Levi, and man, I had this old box TV, my N64, and I would play this game for so long, and I still play it. And like, it's still a lot of fun. Now, like, there's like no explanation given. You just get in there and you fight, and it's very arcadey. You know, there wasn't a whole lot you could do to simulate wrestling in an old 64-bit console, but that's okay. Like this game is still very detailed for what it is. You have Titantrons, you have entrances, you have championships. The Creator Wrestler is so detailed. It's a very impressive suite that leaves little to be desired. And you can create moves, or you can assign move sets, you can create your own entrances, like all sorts of stuff. And so there's a championship mode where you challenge for different championships, and oddly enough, you can challenge for women's titles as a man, and vice versa. It's kind of funny, but you work your way through these championship modes to earn cash for the SmackDown Mall, and you can unlock different props, weapons, wrestlers, move sets, and entrance animations, and all sorts of stuff. So there's so much time to invest in this, and to this day, mod communities are still actively modding this game. People to this day state that this is the greatest wrestling game of all time, and I agree. I wholeheartedly agree, because the magic of this game has not been captured since, and who knows if it will be. I would certainly hope so. I mean, I still like wrestling. I still want them to make a great game like this, but who knows if that'll ever happen. But definitely at the number 2 spot. It was very close deciding if this should be number 1, but to the number 2 spot, it's still very high in my heart. WWF No Mercy. And at number 1, it is... Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. This game is so great, and I had so much fun with it. Now, as I previously mentioned, this game, really it ranks as high as it does. Well, it's number 1 because of sharing it with people I love. And in the summer of 2005, I spent all summer playing this game with my sisters, and we bonded over this game. And so what happens is, little baby Mario is being delivered by a stork, and the stork gets attacked. And so little baby Mario comes plummeting down to little Yoshi's Island, and the usher's like, well, what do we do with them? And we're like, we gotta get them to, rescue or whatever. And so you go through all these different levels and whatnot, making sure you get Mario from point A to point B safely. However, the main gripe people have with this game would definitively be it's not the most pleasant noise in the world. But despite all that, there's so many different mechanics that were not offered in Super Mario World. Like it's that, but like it's a whole new world when you think about it. There's this neat dog, and there's like You know, you throw eggs around and you eat people. I mean, what more you want? And so, like, it's so good. And that final boss battle, I'll never. Never forget finally coming to big old baby Bowser and defeating him. And I was like, I beat the game. And at that moment, I felt my summer was over. And like, it was sad. But I'll never forget this. And I still play it when I can. And it's a game that holds up in my heart. And I just love it so much. So it goes without saying, like, it's definitely one I recommend highly.